Hello, welcome back to the Fourdees office. A bit different this video to the previous videos because yesterday this arrived through the post. It's the Sir Handel model. It's the fifth in the Bachmann series of Scarlowe models. They've done obviously Scarlowe, Rheneas, Rusty, Peter Sam, and now Sir Handel. I don't want to do an in-depth view really into the models. Lots more people will do that. It's just more bit of detail about how it fits together, because obviously for Fourdees I'm going to be using or looking at trying to use the chassis component of it. So the body does not come off like this. It comes off, you have to break it into two parts in order to get it off, upper assembly and lower assembly. I've not done that. I've not put it back on because it's a bit of a faff to actually get the body completely off the chassis. I don't really want to put it back on. In order to get it off, the first thing you need to do is there are 3 screws on the bottom of the chassis. One just behind the cylinders, not the front screw, that's for the coupling mount, one just behind it, and then there are 2 either side of the pony wheel. Take those off, and then you can't quite get the body off just yet. You have to unclip the upper part of the cab. So this main body piece is made up of 3 main bits. There's a lower plastic frame bit. There is the die-cast saddle / bunkers and smoke box, and then the upper cab portion is again plastic. Where the 2 parts of the cab meet, it's clipped on. It's not glued. You have to sort of lever it off. It's a bit fiddly. I'll try and do it on camera. It's not going to be easy. There we go. Once you've unhooked that, you can see it comes away like that, and then it'll. If you've unscrewed those 3 ones on the chassis, you'll be able to lever up the top portion of the model. Just to give some details on the model, you'll notice that there is no interior cab detail, as with all the models in this Bachmann range. It's a bit disappointing, but it is what it is. I'll try and do an interior cab detail for those wanting to upgrade the model. I imagine the Sir Handel will be the same. But you don't need to do anything more of that. That's taken off and you can just leave that as it is. This part, the lower part, is attached to the frame inside the cab. You can see there's a hole there where there's a screw. I managed to, once you take that screw, I managed to get this off without doing anything else other than removing this little worm housing. So the chassis is like the Peter Sam chassis. There is a worm to drive both the middle driving axle. It's then just the rods to the front axle, but then there's also a worm to drive the pony truck. So the pony truck is driven, but it's a lot better hidden than in the Peter Sam chassis, so you can't see it in the cab. This little plastic bit on the top just clips off. I had to remove that only, and I could eventually just lever this part off. There's no other attachments. The wires around the motor are quite wide. I had to fiddle it a bit, and also the motherboard I eventually found it was a bit easier. It's held on by 2 clips that are part of the motor sort of cradle. Once I'd lifted that part off, I could then lever this off without having to completely dismantle and take the motor out and get it back in. And then it gets you to the chassis. As I say, I'm not going to go into that much detail on the chassis. It runs as well as all the others, nice and smooth. The body's nicely detailed. It's the best details of the models in this range. Now, I'm hopefully going to have time during this winter to have a look at doing different locos for this mechanism. Most in my mind is chorus number 10, because I do have some drawings for it. I'd rather not do Sir Hayden, because obviously the Bachmann model is coming out with this painted up. Whilst the model won't quite be to the standard one would hope in terms of what Bachmann Europe can do with like the Festinio Glades and Corrie Hunslets, the detail on this is pretty good. The biggest detail missing from it is that cab interior, the same with all the others. But in terms of body detail, it's nice to see it's got the safety valves and the regulator rod, whistle, all separate fittings. My main gripe was the fact that the injectors on this lower assembly, this plastic bit, is just part of a moulding and it's just sort of painted on. given the level of some of the detail they've got into the top part of the body, it wouldn't have been much to try and get a separate fit-in for the injectors, just to give it a bit more definition, look like the real thing. Especially when this part, it's surprising, the upper valves on the boiler for the injector feed, the handles on it are separate fittings, so there are two little handles that they actually put in just to help replicate that feature on the locomotive, yet when it comes to the lower part of the injector they've just moulded it. But it is what it is, and painted up with in a factory, as with the tower thin models, I'm pretty sure it's going to look really good. I'd happily run that with my tower thin coaches that I do for Fourdees. I'll look at an upgrade kit in terms of trying to give it a bit better backhead interior detail. It's quite tight in there because of the shape of the body. I'll hopefully be able to fit something in there. In terms of other details, I'm not sure of how much I'm going to be able to do to improve the Sir Handel model. Like Telfin, I replaced this part of the model, so you could have like the air pump and more realistic underframe detail. It's not going to be as easy to do with Sir Handel because this part will carry a lot more of the livery of the upper body. So if you look at these sort of livery art plans for the Sir Handel models, you can see how the green carries through on this part from the die cast part to the plastic part. Replicating that once you've got a 3D printed part is not going to look as good. And also, obviously, the cab rear is part of this lower moulding. You're not really wanting to try and paint up to match the rest of the body. So I'm going to have a look at it, I'll have a think, but I'm not sure how easy it is going to be to upgrade a Sir Handel model without me doing the whole thing to replace the top and the bottom, which would be a shame because there's nice detail on the top and also it's metal. It's not that heavy to say there is a bit of metal there. In terms of my kits, I'm probably going to try and make it so that the chorus number 10 or any other models I do will generally just be a one piece. Separate cab top maybe, or cab roof, so you can get to the inside and it would drop on in one go. It's not easy to make 3D prints rigid when you're doing it in separate parts. The tile film one worked well because you were still using the tile film body to sort of sandwich it and keep it straight. It's not going to work as well with the 3D print. But there you go, that's a quick overview of the chassis. I hope you found that useful. Sorry I'm not going to show any videos of it running. It does run nice. My test track's not the most thrilling situation to see a model running around or a chassis just whizzing along. Trust me, it runs fine. If you've got any of the other models, it runs just as well. Yeah, hope that was interesting. Like I say, a bit different, and can't promise how soon I'm going to get any other models for this chassis because I've still got a bit of a backlog I'm working through of different designs. But hopefully early on in 2026 I'll have something ready for you. So until then, happy modelling.